gonna look at the most dangerous Magic the Gathering creatures that are 1/2. All right. And the one at 1 power, 2 toughness we're going to start off with is Elvish Reclaimer at 1 green. It's an elf warrior. By the way, it won't stay 1/2 for very long because it gets +2/+2. As long as there are 3 or more land cards in your graveyard. Also helps put lands in the graveyard with the activated ability of paying 2. Tap it to sacrifice a land. Search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. That is a land tutor. You go look for anything. I don't know what people would look for these days. You could look for Command Tower. Back in my day, when Field of the Dead was legal in Modern, people would look for Field of the Dead, and then just put a bunch of zombies on the battlefield. Yeah, it was a really weird day to see this card go from worthless to completely dangerous. But now it's, Field of the Dead is banned, so, in Modern, so it is worthless again. JML with Metalworker. That card is insane. 3 mana, 1/2 artifact creature. Tap, reveal any number of artifact cards in your hand. Add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool for each card revealed this way. I remember my first time I played against Metalworker. I was playing a Force of Will deck, and I have only 1 Force of Will in hand. And my opponent plays Metalworker. And I'm like, do I counter the Metalworker, or do I counter the real thing that kills me? So my opponent, I'm like, okay, Metalworker resolves. And then all of a sudden, they activate it next turn, revealing, like, I don't know, 7 dangerous threats. And I'm like, oh, wow, this Force of Will is not going to go very far. I, like, forced the first thing and then just died. It was like some Steel Hellkite or something. I might have seen 3 Steel Hellkites in hand, at the very least. I got completely annihilated. It was not a pretty sight. Metalworker is super, super dangerous. Okay, Nate with Stinkweed Imp. Probably broken for the wrong reasons. Let's look at Stinkweed Imp. Card is not particularly impressive, but has 1 particular keyword that is stronger than the rest. Go on, let's get Stinky. Where's Stinky? Stinky Stinkweed. Stinkweed Imp. Alright, well, while we wait for Stinkweed Imp, do I have any other Metalworker stories? Well, I can't own one because it's on the reserve list, and it's like $115 now. I don't really feel like buying a Metalworker for an artifact deck that I don't own at all. Gillum, I finally can catch a stream. Damn, my overfilled schedule. Well, you gotta do what a lot of other people do. They just play the stream at the same time that they're doing other things. Like sleeping. You know, the sleeping crowd. There's like 2 crowds I watch. There's the coffee crew, then the sleeping background people. I don't know how to put it. Okay, we got Stinkweed Imp. Welcome. It's a black 2 generic 1/2, and now it's got flying. As if that's relevant. It's funny, it flies, yet it looks pinned to the ground. Whenever Stinkweed Imp deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. So it's got Death Touch on top of that. But it's got Dredge 5. That's why this card is actually dangerous. If you would draw a card instead, you may put exactly 5 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard, and then return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Otherwise, draw a card. Now, if that doesn't strike fear into you because you've never played against Dredge, then I really can't explain it. It's something to see to believe. Effectively, it's like a self-milling card. You put a bunch of stuff in your graveyard that's freely going to come back to the battlefield, so there's like a bunch of creatures you have to deal with. But Dredge is so, like, out there. Just reading what it does means nothing. You have to see it to believe it. You have to play against a Dredge deck and get a can of whoop ass on you, opened on you, to truly internalize what Dredge means. Wait, do people actually cast this creature unironically? Oh yeah, many times actually. You know, when Dredge puts it in their hand, they just need to stall a turn. They'll play this creature. It's a great blocker. It can even block flyers. First super chat of the day coming from Rated Lex, the Soulscar Mage. Monastery Swift Spears brother. We have a red 1/2 human wizard with prowess. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, you put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. So what really... First off, prowess is like busted. If you play this on turn 1, if this is really a one-on-one format sort of thing, if you play a 1-mana 1/2 with prowess on turn 1, there's no good way of blocking this next turn. Like, what are you going to put in play on turn 2 that has like higher than 2 toughness, or even higher than 3 toughness sometimes, that can even trade with a potentially 3/4 creature? Next turn, they'll play 2 random spells to make it big. On top of that, they can shrink your creature with burn spells. That's right, lightning bolt, whatever the toughness was on your creature, even if it was a 0/4 crab, it can get reduced to 1 with 1 lightning bolt. And even if you somehow survive to tell the tale, it doesn't matter, because those -1/-1 counters, they are permanent. Like permanent marker. Anyway, Soulscar Mage, very strong card. Next, we got your friendly neighborhood idiot with Azusa, Lost but Seeking. Azusa needs no introduction. A 3-mana 1/2. Not really good for combat, but really good for putting extra lands in play. You may put 2 additional lands on each of your turns. You good at drawing lands? Well, you now have some means of putting them onto the battlefield. Azusa will ramp you up. Now, with the Karoo lands, like Waterlog... Sorry, was it Water Chamber? I can't remember the names of the crew lands all of a sudden. Something Chamber. There we go, Simic Growth Chamber. You can like do some cute stuff with this. It's like 2 lands in 1, so you can play Simic Growth Chamber. You put a land back into hand, you could replay that land that you just brought out. If you got Amulet of Vigor, which allows you to tap things when they enter the battlefield, you can just tap this one thing. So it comes to play, tapped, untap it, tap it for mana, put it back into your hand, replay it for extra mana. It's like a weird combo with Azusa. And it works. They love it. Commander players, they love their Azusa. Also Amulet Titan players. Next super chat coming from Alpha Nerd. Thank you very much. Master Transmuter, a personal favorite card. Master Transmuter, transmuting things. Blue 3 generic, 1/2 human artificer. This is half artifact, half human. And also pay a blue tap, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is like an easy way to cheat your like Blightsteel Colossus. Or any other stupid artifact that you have in hand. What we can get? What are the common cards? Blightsteel Colossus, maybe Steel Hellkite. Return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You might also want to... It actually has really good synergy with cards that... like artifacts ETB, draw a card, get value. So you bring those back to your hand, put the big fatty into play. Or actually, you can just get value. You could also, if you don't have a big win condition, you can just keep looping things that draw you cards. Very nice card. Next up, let's look at, is Fate Spinner 1/2? Screwing with my turn there? Oh, it is. Okay, Fate Spinner, blue 1 generic for a 1/2 human wizard at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. They gotta choose. You gotta sacrifice a part of your turn. That player chooses draw step, main phase, or combat phase. The player skips each instance of the chosen step or phase this turn. So how badly do you need to trigger something at upkeep? How badly do you need a card for the turn? How badly do you want to play spells on either of your main phases? Or do you really need to attack? One has to go. No one knows what she is watching, but she never takes her eyes off of it. I actually also like Fate Spinner, a lot of fun. Or I don't know, it's fun for the person casting it. It only affects the opponents, it doesn't affect you. Next super chat we've got from Bacon Catbug. Stoneforge Mystic. So glad it got banned in Standard. That was over 10 years ago. Bacon Catbug still feeling how good it was for Stoneforge Mystic to get banned in Standard more than 10 years ago. That was like 2010, wasn't it? Or maybe 2012? Somewhere around there. The Cobblade era. White 1 generic for a 1/2 core artificer. Enters the battlefield. You can search your library for an equipment card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And for a white 1 generic tap, you may put an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield. This has been a really era-defining card for a very long period of Magic the Gathering. Still sees play even today. Now, the funny thing with Stoneforge Mystic, I was there when it was printed. It was garbage. No one wanted this card. It was like, I believe it was unplayable. Or hold on, was Stoneforge yeah, I think Stoneforge Mystic was unplayable, did nothing. I'm trying to figure out what came. Yeah, I think it was Stoneforge Mystic. And then people were always talking about, well, because the problem is there was no good equipment at the time. There weren't, I think the swords came out like a few sets later. And so at the time, people were like, hey, you might want to speculate on Stoneforge Mystic, like this is a 2-mana tutor. When they make good equipment, like it's going to be busted. And then all of a sudden the swords came out and like, yeah, Stoneforge Mystic came from completely worthless to insane. Then the Batter Skull came out and now we got Coldra Complete. We got everything. Can't remember. I think Umaza, the Jite existed back then, but you could not use that in Standard. And also, I think Extended was still a thing back then. I don't know if this was immediately playable in Legacy, because I wasn't there when Legacy first came out. So yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, pretty interesting card, where the card just got better and better as they printed better and better equipment. Okay, next up, let's look at Islarv's Emery, Lurker of the Loch. Emery, Lurker of the Loch, on the list of Merfolk traders. Card that does not go into a Merfolk deck, but goes into a bunch of other Merfolk decks. Or sorry, a bunch of other decks in general. Blue 2 generic, 1/2 Merfolk Wizard. Costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. So you got some like Lotus Petals, some Soul Rings. It's going to be basically almost free. Enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. Oh, I guess that means you. I'm just thinking, can you mill your opponent? Does it target something? No, it's just going to assume it's going to be you. Tap, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. So effectively, this card says, your graveyard is your hand. Not to mention, there's like really good interactions with like 0 mana cards. Bring back your, what's it called? Mana Crypt. Bring back Mishra's Bauble. So you don't even lose any like space or tempo for the turn. Anyway, amazing card. Loops a lot of artifacts. You know, Pyrite Spellbomb, Ether Spellbomb. You can bring back any artifact if you want. Artifact goes to the graveyard. So basically, you have to kill Emery before you even deal with the artifacts on the battlefield, or it's completely worthless. Next super chat we got from Ecos, Academy Rector. Get that omniscience from your deck. Is that what you guys get these days? White 3 generic 1/2 cleric. When Academy Rector is put into a graveyard from play. So you got it has to die. You may remove Academy Rector from the game. If you do, search your library for an enchantment card and put that card in play. Then shuffle your library. What are the best cards to get with it? Is it just Omniscience? Is that like the go-to card in any Academy Rector deck? Never seen it in action. I can tell you a lot about these other cards, but I've never seen it. I know this card is like very, very, very popular. So you have to make sure that it gets exiled. When you just point something at the Rector, make sure that it's a Swords to Plowshares, not a Lightning Bolt or a Fatal Push or something of that effect. Overwhelming Splendor is good. Oh, Overwhelming Splendor. I like that one. That's the curse aura that gives all your opponent's creatures, they lose all abilities and they're -1/-1. Something to that effect. Yawgmoth's Bargain if it's legal. Which it will not. Hey guys, can we rule 0 in Yawgmoth's Bargain? I swear it's a fun, fair card. Okay, turn to Academy Rector. Does anyone have any response? No? Okay, I'd like to kill my own Academy Rector. Is the video quality lower for anybody else? It's always you guys. Just refresh or get better internet. That's how it is. Yawgmoth's Bargain back then? Oh, you're talking about way back then. Was that a thing? I didn't play in that era. Like, I don't know that standard. But that was a card. I swear it got banned really quickly, though. Yawgmoth's Bargain was a card in the Saga block. But I'm pretty certain that it did not last very long. And we do not see, like, block bannings on this website, so I can't be certain. Okay, next up, let's look at Yo Little Ted's Hushbringer. Bring in some hushing. With the creepiest art of all time. Is there a better art? Do we have an alternate art? No, we have nothing. This creepy lips art. It's a white one, generic 1/2, flying lifelink. Creatures entering the battlefield or dying don't cause abilities to trigger. Alright? So we already have the answer to the Academy Rector. You don't do nothing for as long as the Hushbringer is in play. Hushbringer's in play, you're going to be quiet. Then we know Omniscience or Yawgmoth's Bargain coming around here. You keep that stuff at home. Here we have a clean, nice library of fairies. The original AI art. It looks AI. It's like a mix of like too real and regular art and like the kissingness and stuff. Like I understand, you know, you have to use lips when you're being quiet, but this is just very, very creepy to me. Never liked the art on this. Let's begin this conversation again, and this time you will only listen. Aha. Yeah, very, very nice joke there, Hushbringer. But still, super powerful card. Most of the things that make Magic cards, the creatures, so good are the abilities, the ETBs, the death triggers. Hushbringer says, no, absolutely screw it. You can't have that around here. ETBs are banned. Death triggers are banned. Very, very strong card, the Hushbringer. Okay, Bacon Catbug with Stormcrow. I will look it up, but I will immediately disqualify it. This card's absolute trash. Oops, no, wrong sound effect. Get it out of here. Okay, we'll donate that card to Starfire Dragon, Krenko. Tin Street Kingpin. Is this a really good card? I've not seen this card in action. Also, it's like $1. It's a red 2 generic 1/2 goblin. When it attacks, put a counter on it, and then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power. I suppose if you can give this thing haste? Whenever Krenko attacks, put a counter, create a number equal to... Oh, I see. So the bigger this thing is, which it can be big if you have enough lords or other creatures that trigger and make it bigger, like Goblin Bushwhacker, Reckless Bushwhacker, and so on. You can get a bunch of goblins in play. Still, never seen it in action before. It's the Dangernator. I'm sure you're not referencing this thing. Alex! Venerated Rot Priest. Oh my god. People tried to break this thing upon on arrival. In some cases, they have. Green 1/2 Phyrexian Druid with Toxic 1. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. You can't interact with this! Like, even if you try, your opponent could just respond, okay, I'm going to play more spells to target my own creatures. And it can be any creature. It doesn't even need to be a Venerated Rot Priest. Sometimes when you try to interact, they'll just respond, okay, gonna give my Venerated Rot Priest hexproof, and you still get the poison counter. That is... What is the sound effect? No, that's useless for the situation. Yeah, they're gonna target you with all of their poison counters. And it's easy, and they don't even need to attack. No attack required, very easy to pull off. I guess the only difference is you have to be very careful you protect your Venerated Rot Priest. He'll die on the spot. In some cases, it's easier just to kill someone with Infect than with Toxic 1. In a lot of cases, it's like that. Okay, next up, we'll go with... what is this? Bacon Catbug's... Archaeomancer? Is this like only good because it has some like combo potential? I don't even remember the combos. Blue 2 generic 1/2 enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. I think there are some cards that allow you to like bounce this thing and then untap the mana. Yeah, the Archaeomancer, there are a lot of loops, so give me some loops. I don't think it works with Snap, but maybe it does work with Snap if you have like a land that adds a lot of mana. So you like Snap, bring it back, untap a bunch of lands, reuse those lands to play your Archaeomancer, get the Snap back, replay the on Archaeomancer, get infinite ETBs. So it does have that going for it. It's a decent old school card to blink if you can have fun with extra turn spells with Braga. Ooh, you got that too. Oh, I could see this card getting ephemerated. I could see this card getting ephemerated too. Ephemerate. And then you get another ephemerate. Get my time warp back. Play time warp. Next turn. Ephemerate. Yeah, get my time warp back. Cast it. Next turn, ephemerate resolves again because of rebound. Get my extra turn spell again. And we just keep going. Oh, Displacer Kitten makes it go burr as well. It's a Displacer Kitten combo. What is this? Words of power never disappear. They sleep, awaiting those with the will to rouse them. Cool. Turiat, Kitesail Freebooter. Are you humans deck? Or are you a pirate deck? Humans and pirates have both used the Kitesail Freebooter. It's a black 1 generic 1/2 flyer. What's interesting is that it's on a kite. Now goblins on a kite cannot block other flyers. Like whenever they're on like a kite or a glider or something, they can't block. It's like they fly, but they're not allowed to block. But the human pirate can block. I guess it's just magic. They are better at navigating the air. The human pirate's better than the goblins. Anyway, enters the battlefield. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. Exile it until Kitesail Freebooter leaves the battlefield. So it's effectively there's this white-black artifact grizzly bear creature that does something very similar, except this thing flies. Is more splashable and is played in a lot more decks. And has seen a lot of play over Magic the Gathering history. Next up, let's look at... Do we have a super chat? We do. Ecos. Thank you very much for your super chat. Aphedo Alchemist. The combo engine for infinite untap triggers for cards like Millennium Calendar for a turn 3 win, or works as a mana dork. We all need blue mana dorks in this game. The blue mana dorks start with Aphedo Alchemist. Blue 1 generic for a 1/2 wizard. Sorry, human wizard. Tap. Untapped target artifact or creature. Those artifacts, they can be Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Grim Monolith, Basalt Monolith. Have you ever heard of those? So that's big mana. You can also untap creatures. You can untap an actual mana dork. It's got Morph. They'll never see it coming. Or will they? Okay, by today's standards, has anyone played a Morph card against you and you didn't know what it was? Like, just based on the deck, you probably could, like, narrow it down to at least 2 cards. Unless they build the actual Morph deck. Okay, let's look at... Mordrex, Deathrite Shaman. The card in contention to be the most dangerous 1-drop of all time. It's fighting it with Ragavan right now. It is a Golgari 1/2 Elf Shaman. Tap, exile target land card from a graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color. You can also pay so it's a mana dork. Assuming there are fetch lands in the format, which probably there are. You can also pay a black, tap, exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. I cannot, like, maybe this means nothing in Commander, but in, like, one-on-one formats, having multiple Deathrite Shamans on the board means you're gonna die soon. Like, if there's 2 or more, they start draining you for 4, for 6 a turn, and it's unblockable damage. And also, pay a green, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. That could do one of 2 things, either pad your life total, or prevent someone from going off with their Reanimator deck, their Dredge deck, any graveyard deck. Oh, your Tarmogoyf is a 4/5. Well, now it's a 3/2. Sorry, it's a 3/4. Are we gonna do a worst creature or worst legends too? Probably we should do that. We'll have a worst 1/2s of all time. We're doing the best, then we'll get around to the worst. Okay, next up, let's look at Alpha Nerds, a Doorkeeper Thrall. Are you serious? I don't even know what this is. It's a nasty card, apparently. Oh, it's a very similar card as Hushbringer. White 1 generic 1/2 Thrall, flash flying, so they're not even gonna see it coming. Could come in at any moment. You got 2 mana untapped. It could be anything. It could be a boat. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Again, hampering probably the single most important part of creatures these days, and that is the free ETB effects. I do not think there are enough Doorkeeper Thralls in the game. I don't think there's enough Stifle effects in the game. We gotta ramp these up because these cards are just... They should at least make this a 2/2. 1/2 I don't even think is big enough. This should be just a standard card in every deck. Sorry, players playing with ETBs and stuff. Tony the Pokemon guy with the Psychotog. Ew! I don't like this ET art. It is disgusting. I like this one a little bit. I got Mr. Teeth. Okay, we got Mr. Teeth on the show. We got a black, blue, 1 generic, 1/2, a Tog. Discard a card from your hand. Psychotog gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Remove 2 cards in your graveyard from the game. Psychotog gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So, you, OG art, I agree is better. Yes, exactly. This is hideous. I don't even know what this is. Look at the arms. I don't know if that's what a Togs even look like naturally in their natural habitat. Anyway, this is a little bit more cartoony, but I can stare at it. I don't know how good this card is now. Are there any, like, good synergies with this in Commander at the moment in any Dimir decks? I mean, back in the day, you, like, upheavaled the entire board, discarded most of your hand-to-hand size, and this thing could, like, attack for 20, like, pretty quickly. I was shocked when I learned this card was competitive back in the day. It was great! It was like a 1-card win condition. You know, you just discard cards and exile stuff from the... But it helps when your opponent has no lands in play. Alright? Because that was, like, the combo. It was like a combo card. I don't know if that combo would work anymore. I mean, like, in Commander, you have 40 life. Your graveyard's gotta be pretty big. Pretty big. Minkoa. What? Oh, no! I am so sorry, Minkoa. You got sniped. Also, Kagan looks like they got sniped. Okay, Minkoa. If you have another card, Minkoa, I'll do another card. Until then, I will donate the super chat to Arcanus. Bitter Heart Witch. I'm gonna keep an eye out for you, Minkoa. We already did Arena Rector. What is this? 5 mana for a 1/2 human shaman. It's got Death Touch, though. And when it dies, you may search your library for a cursed card. Oh, put it onto the battlefield, attached to target player, then shuffle your library. I imagine the card you would only get is... oh, what's that one? All your opponent's creatures are worthless. They're 1/1s. Oh, Splendid something. Is it Overwhelming Splendor? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Overwhelming Splendor. I guess that is like the card to go get. 8 mana, but you're not gonna pay anything. Enchanted player controls enchanted creatures. Enchanted player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Basically, just screw them over. That's the only thing. It's the only point. Play turn 1, Bitter Heart Witch. Or not turn 1. Step 1. Step 2, Overwhelming Splendor. Oh, we did Academy Rector, not Arena Rector. Arena Rector? Oh, that card wrecked me once. Oh, yeah. White, 3 generic, 1/2 human cleric. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, search your library for a Planeswalker card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. When I saw this for the first time, I'm like, I'm absolutely screwed. I was thinking, what are you gonna go get? And they got, like, was it Ugin or something? They got Ugin, just completely wrecked me. I was stone cold dead. The game went from like, I don't know, 0 to 100 super fast. That's all I can say about this card. And if I remember correctly, the first time I ever played against this, they didn't do anything. Like, they had no way to sacrifice the Arena Rector. So it just sat there doing nothing, but I also couldn't attack into my opponent. Because I was too scared of what was going to happen. And I was right. I should have been scared the entire time. Bring out Daddy Bolus with the Rector. Is Daddy Bolus even the best thing that you can even do? Alpha Nerd with Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a second, because even more, just equally important as Super Chats is our sponsors. Just inconveniently coming up at a Super Chat moment. like FusionGamingOnline.com, the first place I go to buy all my Magic the Gathering cards. And you want to check out the deal of the week every week because they got big sales on sets like Mirrodin block singles. Save 15% off your Chalice of the Voids, your Arcbound Ravagers, your Clark Clan Ironworks, your Mycosynth Lattices. They got all the best you love artifacts in Commander, and all the best artifacts come from Mirrodin block. It's where most of them got banned. And you can get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget you can get singles from Karlov Manor. All your new juicy stuff. Fill up your decks in Pioneer Standard and Commander. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. It also supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. To play every format possible all at once, with the exception of the arena formats. Because on Magic Online, we only play the paper formats there. With like Vintage, Legacy, Modern, Pioneer, Standard, Commander, and it's all possible with one monthly, or a monthly subscription to Mana Traders. Instead of buying every single deck for every format. You ever wanted to play Vintage? Oh, it's possible. When you play online, you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_ZWX. And now we get back to Arena Rector world. Okay, well, what was the super chat? What are we doing here? Oh, we're doing Priest of the Forgotten Gods. I want that super chat sound effect back. Priest. Don't let this thing get out of control. Priest of the something. Priest. I know what you're talking about. Priest of the Forgotten Gods? Or maybe it's just Priest of Forgotten something. There we go. Priest of Forgotten Gods. I saved you. I know how this works. A lot of Magic cards are like, isn't there a "the" in there? And then you look it up on Scryfall or Google, and Google's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Scryfall most definitely doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay, 2 mana. 1/2. Human Cleric. Tap, sack 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life. So you can choose some people not to lose 2 life? And sacrifice a creature. You add black, and draw a card. So we sack 2 creatures, they sack 1, and they lose the 2 life. We draw a card, we get value, and we also get mana to replay stuff, and hopefully bring back some of the creatures that we just sacrificed. Okay, Pedgeman, my boy! Thunderkin, oh my god. This is a big troll card, in my opinion. Okay, we have a red 1 generic. Elemental Shaman. Haste. When it attacks, choose target elemental card in your graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. Return that card to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sack it at the beginning of the next upkeep. You know what, like the #1 card people try to play with this card? What's it got? Lightning Skelemental. This is like the way to get your value out of your Lightning Skelemental. Oh yeah, maybe you could have survived the first Lightning Skelemental that has Trample, Haste, and when it deals damage to you, you discard 2 cards. But can you deal with it a second time or a third time for as many times as you want? As long as you keep attacking with this damn Thunderkin Awakener, you can get infinite Lightning Skelementals. It doesn't go away. It does not get exiled at end of turn. It just gets sacrificed to be regurgitated over and over again. Next super chat, we got Thraben Inspector by Star. This card, it doesn't look like much, but it's actually been a staple in Magic the Gathering for like almost an eternity. It's a white 1/2. Now the fact that it has 2 toughness for 1 mana, big deal. There's not a lot of cards out there that do that. It's even more important in today's world where, you know, we're in a world of Bowmasters and Furies and what's it called? There's that Rakdos card in Pioneer. Whenever you sack something, you ping things. It's evil. It's absolutely evil. Anyway, enters the battlefield, you investigate, you get a clue. So it's like a 1 mana 1/2 and you draw a card. You just have to cash in on it like a lot later. Fury be banned. Well, Fury be banned in some formats. Fury not banned in all formats. But it's Thraben Inspector. Thriv Inspector, not impressed. What's the Thriv Inspector looking at? Like a bunch of Eldrazi tentacles? I never really paid attention to this picture. If you've been at this as long as I have, nothing can surprise you. That's the hope. That's the hope, at least. Okay, oh, come on. No, there's enough spam in here. Don't spam, like, singing. Okay, what do we have next? We'll have Mr. Deadhead's Shaman Encore. This is not it, is it? Shaman Encore! We have a white 1 generic, 1/2 cleric. Pay 0, redirect 1 damage from Shaman Encore to a creature you control. How does this get broken? Can you do it with, like, I'm sure that has something to do with, like, the Cephalid Breakfast card. The, Cephalid Illusionist. So we have a white 1 generic, redirect to Shaman Encore, all damage dealt to any one creature from any one source. Really have no clue. I can see there's something here. I just don't know how it combos. Or, like, what cards are best to combo with this card. Redirect 1 damage from Shaman Encore. I think it's just comboing with Cephalid Illusionist. Where when you target Cephalid Illusionist with anything, so redirect 1 damage. What's it? The next 1 damage that would be dealt to Shaman Encore this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. And so with Cephalid Illusionist, you can, like, just basically empty your entire deck into nothing. Try a combo with what's in the graveyard. Next super chat. We'll get Kagan. All right, Kagan, what do you got for us? Not terribly strong, but Frost Augur works very well in a Snow Scry deck. Frost Augur is a blue human shaman. Snow tap. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. That's a lot of value. It's basically with scrying sheets on a creature. Nothing wrong with the little scrying sheets on a creature. Chanfred with Devoted Caretaker. We have a white 1/2 cleric. Pay a white, tap. Target permanent you control gains protection from instant spells and from sorcery spells until end of turn. This is like Giver of Runes / Mother of Runes, but very specifically for instants and sorceries. That's it. Neat card. So if you need more protection cards, you go get your Devoted Caretaker. Next up, we've got the, did we do this one? The Doorkeeper Thrall? Or did we do another Thrall? Oh, I don't know if this was suggested twice or you got sniped. Sorry about that, Crowcore Games. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to donate to... We did Stoneforge Mystic a long time ago. How about we go with Larry Laws, Gyre Sage. This is a 2-mana 1/2 with Evolve. Also tap out a green for each +1/+1 counter on the Gyre Sage, which means you can even just move counters on the... Screw the Evolve, just dump counters on this thing and then add a huge ton of mana. I got sniped Stoneforge Mystic as replacement or just don't... Oh, God. We did Stoneforge Mystic super early on. Gotta be here 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time so you don't miss what has been chosen already. I know, sometimes I'm early, sometimes I'm late. Okay, next up, there's actually okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of super chats, because these have been, okay, some of them have been sniped, so let's get the ones that have not been sniped, and then we'll get to the sniped ones. Scurry Oak, at danger. Scurry Oak, huge combo card. It's when you call it a danger. 3 mana for a Tree Folk, again with Evolve. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Scurry Oak, you may create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. And for as long as you have creatures that, like, trigger counters when they enter the battlefield, so, like, a creature enters the battlefield, trigger a counter, you can put on Scurry Oak, which will then make a creature. And it just goes infinite. Okay, next super chat we got from Ecos. The Knight of Ebon Legion. Love for aggro decks. Is it Knight of the Ebon Legion? It is Knight of the Ebon Legion for once. It is a black 1/2 Vampire Knight for 3 mana. It gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. But get this, at the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, by any means, by the way, maybe someone else hit them, put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of Emon Legion. Or if they took too much damage from, like, I don't know, their Dismember, their Fetch Shocks. That also counts! Oh, but it's only at the beginning. Oh, sorry. It's only on your turn. If a player lost 4 or more life this turn, at the beginning of your end step. Okay, so all that had to be done on your turn, though. It will not work on anybody else's turn. Everyone's mentioning cards that people super chatted. Also, we did Emery already. Did we do Master Trans? I think we did Master Transmuter. So I'm trying to get through all the super chats that have not been sniped yet. You guys are sniping each other like crazy. Anim Pakel. What the hell is that? Anim! From Mario. This is an actual card. Okay, white, red, 1 generic for a human soldier. Whenever you attack with 1 or more non-gnome creatures, plus +1/+1 counter on Anim Pakel. Then create X/1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Anim Pakel. You get them counters, you get more creatures. J-Hogue with delighted, very delighted halfling. How do Commander players feel about this card? Because this card's super annoying. I mean, I know a lot of people out there want to shove it to counterspell decks, but, like, this is sometimes too much. It's a green 1/2 halfling citizen. You can tap add a colorless mana, or, which can cast Eldrazi, by the way, or you can tap add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast legendary spells, which include, like, artifacts. Some of them are legendary, and that spell can't be countered. Can't be countered! Yeah, basically saying no to the cards that say no. Like I said, there's a lot of people that just want to shove it to counterspell decks. So counterspells are almost useless at this point. They're losing so much value. We can't even counter planeswalkers anymore. Is that even a bad thing? Unless you're in it's just a dork unless you're in CEDH. Well, a lot of people are in CEDH. A lot of people are in CEDH without even realizing they're in CEDH. It's a 1/2, avoids the Bowmasters and decent EDH, especially if it's a commander, is a win con in the command zone in CEDH. Exactly. So everyone hates counterspells until they need to counter somebody's commander, and now they can't even do that now because of the delighted halfling. Making things uncounterable. Okay, we got Rewenger with the Magus of the Candelabra. Someone has a taste for the Candelabra. So you could either spend $1,000 on a Candelabra of Thanos, or you can spend $1 on a Candelabra at home. We have a 1/2 human wizard, pay X, tap, untap X target lands. It's a strong card. Does the same thing. Yeah, it is definitely Candelabra at home. 100% Candelabra at home. Okay, Bryce. Azu is a Lost but Seeking or Delver of Secrets. Delver... Does this count? So, like... Okay, thank you very much for your super chat, by the way. Okay, so its power on the front side is 1. Its toughness on the back side is 2. But neither side has a power of 1 and toughness of 2. So I'm disqualifying this card. I'm going to give it... So we're going to donate that one to Greg Jobs, Rootwater Thief. I still am on the fence of how good this card is. I know this is like the absolute staple. It's like one of these staple cards of Commander. Like you absolutely need to rip some people's win conditions out. This is the win condition thing, right? It's a 2-mana Merfolk. For a blue, you can give it flying if that's necessary. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 2. If you do, search their library for a card and say goodbye to that card. It gets removed from the game, and then the player shuffles their library. It's a weird card to me. I don't know if this is, like, worthy of, like, a must include in a lot of blue decks, but I've been told, like, hey, you're making a Merfolk deck, you have to have this Merfolk. Those combo decks, they're gonna get you. It just sucks in any other circumstance. That's my only problem. It's a pet card for mine, and EDH won't call it a staple. It's a challenge to combo decks to not win with combo. They're gonna combo anyway, though. Like, how quickly can you get this thing out? I mean, on average, turn 2. So by turn 3, you can get it online. That's assuming they don't combo off first upon seeing this thing. Okay, next up, we'll look at Kagan's. What's it called? Walker of Secret Ways. Lets you recycle your ninjas. Oh my goodness, Platonic Liquid would love the sound of that. 3 mana, 1/2 for a human ninja with ninjutsu of 2 mana. Whenever Walker of the Secret Ways deals combat damage to a player, look at that player's hand. Oh, this is a perfect. Okay, we have a blue 1 generic. Return target ninja you control to its owner's hand. Activate this ability only during your turn. So recycle, I don't know. I guess your ninja of the deep hours over and over. And over and over and over and over and over again. This is a Pro Tour winning card, right? No, this was, you mean Root Water Thief? This was an invitational gift. It's like, if you won an invitational, then you were, you had the option to, or you're allowed to make a magic card. And this was the card that was made. Sadly, did not live up to expectations. Was it the Mike Long card? I think it's Mike Long. Maybe that's Mike Long over here in the boat. About to get their combo piece ripped. That's funny. Mike Long was a combo player. Interesting choice to make a card to rip cards out of his deck. He did that he also ripped his own cards out of his own deck. Put it on his lap a few times. Yeah, hope we don't find this in your lap. Or the missing card. But you're supposed to put in exile. He put in exile on his lap to put it back into his hand at the right time. Maybe pay 2 if you do search. Oh, you can't search your own library. Damn. Okay, let's go. Okay, we have a bunch of screwed super chats, and let's get back to the freebies. Okay, Rishaden Dockhand. 1 mana Island Walk. Pay 1 mana tap target land. I like it. It's not insanely broken, but it's okay. Actually, the best thing about this card, aside from being 2 toughness, it actually has natural Island Walk. Just attack. Just attack. Ha, you have an island. You've activated my trap card. Rishaden Dockhand. Okay, some sniped super chats. We did Emery already, so we will donate that to the freebie section. We'll give it to, I don't think Christopher B got one today, Scare Crone. What the hell is this? 3 mana, pay 1, sack it to draw a card. Okay, I can get behind that. Pay 4, tap. Return target artifact card, creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's insane. This is a reanimator card all by itself. Her puppets bring joy to the truly depraved. Are there any good targets for this? I don't know. Okay, Vitor, Monastery Swiftspear. We actually didn't look at Monastery Swiftspear. The Swifty. I actually like the OG Swiftspear the best. This art is gorgeous. We have a red human monk with haste and prowess. That's it. And you might think, well, that's not particularly impressive, but you have to see it in action. I mean, it has been a burn and prowess staple for eternity. If you play a deck with a lot of basically lightning bolts, preordains, ponders, brainstorm, the card is nuts. You just basically churn through your deck, more cantrips. On average, it's like a 3/4 creature. You spend 1 mana, you have a 3/4 creature at worst, sometimes better. You play with Lava Dart, you cast Lava Dart, you play it for free from your graveyard, it gets even bigger. Actually, it's just, And then they printed it into Pop! Didn't it get banned in Pauper? Did you get banned in Pauper? Yeah, it got banned in Pauper. That was insane. I can't believe... This is a rare power level card, at the very least. And it was printed in uncommon. And they're like, let's print it in common for Pauper. What could go wrong? Red was already pretty damn good in Pauper. Then it just broke it. Like, of course, it just broke the format. Or made it at least very, very unhealthy. Can we rank zombies? Oh, we've ranked zombies before. Just look up my zombie tier list. We've been there. Robert with a sniped super chat. Venerate Raw Piece. We did that one. So we're going to donate. What do we have next? Let's go... I don't think David Sampson got a card. Llanowar Druid. Currently trying to figure out how to make this busteder, as if it wasn't busted already. Okay, it's a 2 mana elf. Tap, sacrifice Llanowar Druid, untap all forests. Instructions unclear. I don't even think this is good. Is this even good in the first place? It's 27 cents. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. 27 cents. Never been reprinted. Probably crap. Isn't Haywire Might have won one? It's a 1-2 on Arena. Why did they buff this up? Okay, this is the original. So it's disqualified. But on Arena, they buffed it up for some reason. In a lot of ways. Why did the... I mean, it already sees perfect play in paper. It's now a 1-2 where you gain 3 life. You can sacrifice... You can pay a green to sacrifice your Haywire Might. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Yeah, I know. Like, as if this card needs a buff. That is just beyond wild. That should be in a show. You know what? I don't know. For anyone who plays Arena, maybe we should have a show about Magic cards that got buffed up by Arena or powered down. Because I actually have no idea what those cards are. Anyone play Arena out there? Do you think that's a cool show? Let me know in the comments section. Maybe that's a show that we need to do. Anti-Bowmaster to combat one. I guess so. That was such a mistake. Do you know what? It's possible that just giving everything 1 toughness for eternity was a mistake. Master Transmuter was a snipe super chat. Feel for you, Ecos. Such a trooper. We'll donate this super chat to some 124Cs, Raven Familiar. The hell is this? Just staring at me. It's a 3-mana bird with Echo. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's like Ponder. But it doesn't even look good. Not dangerous, in my opinion. At least it could have untapped all your forests. If it untapped all your forests, maybe I could have given it some credit. Is the Nazgul any good? Maybe. Maybe the Nazgul's waiting to get broken. It's a 3-mana 1-2 with Death Touch. Enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. And when it tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each Wraith you control. Which does not know, don't only just count the Nazgul. I think Street Wraith is a Wraith. It better be a Wraith at least. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. Okay, I'll have to look up Street Wraith. Is that a Wraith? It is a Wraith, all right? It's a Wraith. It's gonna pump up your Street Wraiths over there. Okay, okay, here's one. Yavimaya Hollow with Llanowar Druid with coffers? What kind of combo is that? I don't know. That doesn't work. Like, wait, you want to regenerate your Llanowar Druid? And how does... Oh, no, I think you mean Yavimaya with Cabal coffers. Now I understand. Not Yavimaya Hollow. It's Yavimaya Cradle of whatever. Cradle of Growth with Cabal coffers. I still don't see it. No, not a chance. Never gonna happen. Okay, Abzo's Cruel Celebrant. I have lost to this card many times. The black-white 1/2 vampire. Whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, so when it kicks the bucket, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. But the thing is... Oh, it's only upon death. There's another one that's like when it ETBs, it siphons people's life. I think it's a zombie. Creature. Whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies. Whatever. I have also lost to this card. Where they've got, what's it called? Viscera. They have a board of vampires. All of a sudden I can't attack into anything because anything that blocks will hit me for a huge chunk of damage. Because they have multiple Cruel Celebrants on the battlefield. And then at the right moment... they sack their creatures and drain the rest of my life What's been called so far? That is a very loaded question. The best thing is to just throw out things and hope that I answer your pleas. Did you say anything else earlier, Rorschach? Here, I'll look you up. Do you have anything else? I'm not about to go back and recite the whole show over and over again. No card yet. I'm desperate. Send help. Samite Elder! The Elder! Wooberg says, hell yeah, and a budget option. Okay, 3 mana for a 1/2. Tap. Creatures you control gain protection from the colors of target permanent you control until end of turn. What? But why? Creatures you control gain protection from the colors of your own permanent until end of turn. So, like, is this to protect you from some creature that deals damage to everything? So it's like, tap. Rorschach, you so we did Psychotog. Here, you don't have to super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. We're gonna be donating these super chats I'll keep a lookout for you. Just spit out cards. I'll tell you if it's been done before or not. Yeah, but we did Psychotog. Thank you very much for the super chats, that's for sure. Come on, Nikachu. I clocked in on time, like always. Hardly ever late for the show. Merchants something? Merchants Dockside. Merchants something. Oh, Merchant's Dockhand. 1 mana, 1/2. Pay 4, tap. Tap X. Tap untapped artifacts you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I would say this is pretty mediocre, to be honest. Pretty mediocre. Here we go. Rorschach, I'm looking out for you. Just be spitting facts, that's all. Spit facts. I tried to use a scan through the video with my house on the time bar, and it shows a big chunk of the cards that came earlier. Yeah, you could do that. You can go back in time on these live shows on YouTube while it's happening live. Killing Fiend. We've got a 2 mana 1/2 that can kill you in 1 shot. It is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Killing Fiend gets +3/+0 until end of turn. So you've got gut shots, mutagenic growths, burn spells up the wazoo. I mean, you'll have 3 mana by turn 3. You can kill someone for 20 damage all at once. My bad. I figured out I could rewind. Didn't know you can do that while the stream is going on. Yep, this is not Twitch. Can't do that on Twitch, but you can do this on YouTube. I'm assuming we did cover Venerated Rock Priest. Did we even do the most probable thumbnail? Dockside Extortionist. I don't know if I would choose Dockside. But we did not do Dockside Extortionist. It's a 2 mana 1/2. When Dockside Extortionist enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. In danger! People are just gonna accept this? Truth be told, if no one played Soul Ring, if no one played Mana Crypt, and no one played any other artifact ramp, this card would be worthless. But everyone does, so. And you can't stop them. No, it's Commander players and their Soul Ring. You can't take their Soul Ring away from them. No, you even mention it, they're gonna get really pissy about it. Let's ban Soul Ring. Don't you dare take my Soul Ring away from me. That's my Soul Ring. In some ways, Soul Ring makes a bunch of garbage playable, so I understand. Otherwise, garbage would still be garbage, even in Commander. Needs to be banned in EDH. It's pretty busted. You could sneeze and it goes infinite. Exactly. Oh well. Monkey, pirate, goblin. it's a bit of everything, isn't it? Giant Killer. Did Rorschach give me any cards? I gotta prioritize Rorschach. Rorschach gave a bunch of super chats. Okay, let's look at Giant Killer. This is very underrated. I'm surprised this doesn't see more competitive play. But you have a 1/2 attached to a 1 mana creature that can tap creatures for 2 mana. But for 3 mana, it can just destroy the creature if it's too big. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I think this is a fantastic card. Super underrated. Can't find the zombie tier list to save my life. Maybe I didn't have a zombie tier. I'm pretty sure it's just like zombie tier list. If not, I'll take a look. It should come up though. I'm like 99% sure I had a zombie tier list. I could be wrong. Okay, for Ginka, Alpha Guard. Awkward, but saved me a few times. Okay, we got it. The 2 mana Elf Employee. This is Acorn. It's not even a real card. Enters the battlefield, choose a letter. I choose the letter X. X. Untap another target permanent whose name starts with the chosen letter. I screwed myself. No, actually, there is one card called X, so I could untap that. Bryce says, I think Soul Ring is fine. That is a weird line to play. Oh yeah, Soul Ring is fine, but Crypt and Vault, that's bannable. They're all nonsense. Come on, they're all busted. None of those cards are legal in Legacy, and for good reason. 7124C with the Merfolk Assassin for the Merfolk metagame coming up. It's a blue 1/2. You tap and you blow up the goddamn Merfolk with creature with Island Walk. So it could be a Merfolk. Could be something else that just has Island Walk. Yeah, I guess the flavor is the Merfolk Assassin gonna come in. Shouldn't this also have Island Walk? I mean, it swam in the water, didn't it? Next super chat from Kagan. Thank you very much. We've got the Master Transmuter to trade something for Blightsteel Colossus. This is... Oh, no, it didn't... I swear you suggested this before, and I said it was already done. Hold on. Master Transmuter. Or did we do this one? Or did we do something similar to this? Either we did this one or something similar. It's a blue 3 generic 1/2. Pay a blue, tap, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand, and you put a big fatty onto the battlefield. So we did this one already, or we did something insanely similar. We also did Magus of the Candelabra. Rorschach still has not shot their shot yet. Okay, next we'll look at... Oh, Merfolk plus Warbarge. What's Warbarge? Target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we did Transmuter. We did Deathrite Shaman. Are we running out of cards? With Nardole. Resourceful Cyborg. Oh my goodness. This looks like a shot out of a video. Okay, we have a blue 1 generic. Scientist. Tap, add a blue for each counter on Nardole. Spend this mana only to cast non-creature spells. It's got Undying. What is this, a zombie? Weird. There's also Doctor's Companion. Rorschach was testing me. They tested me good. We're going to keep the show going on for a little bit longer just because we got a billion super chats from Rorschach. So, thanks. The show is longer, and thanks to compliments of Rorschach. Azuri's Archers. Azuri knows how to shoot things. Okay, we have a green Elf Archer with Reach. Whenever Azuri's Archers blocks a creature with flying, Azuri's Archers gets +3/+0 until end of turn. This card, I think, is very underwhelming. We did Azusa. We did Magus of the Candelabra. Oh, a Niv Magus Elemental. That card's strong. That is a very strong card. Oh, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's a 1/2. So it's a blue or red, and exile an instant or sorcery spell you control. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Niv Magus Elemental. The idea, again, you just play spells, and then don't let them resolve. Just exile them while they're on the stack, and this thing gets enormous. And it stays enormous. It's not like Prowess where this thing goes away. Just gotta make sure that this thing lives till next turn, or you're going all in on a deck that will do nothing. If this thing gets bounced or something, you are completely doomed. Okay, Kagan wants to redeem themselves. Fine. Wernog, Riders Chaplain, if you have a blinker. This is a white-black human. That's it. It's just a human. It's not a pirate. It's not a cleric. It's just a human. Enters or leaves the battlefield. Each opponent may investigate. Each opponent who doesn't loses 1 life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who wanted to investigate. How many people want cards out there? Because I want cards. Oh, yes. Also has Friends Forever. You can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. Is that just a variation on Partner? There's so many of these, like, partnerish cards. Partner, Friends Forever. What do we got here? I don't even know the names of these cards. We must be at the bottom of the barrel now. We did Dockside. What the hell is Kaza? By Adeline. Kaza Royal Chaser. There we go. It's a 2-mana flying haste human wizard. That's no magic carpet. This is like a magic... It looks like a vacuum cleaner. One of those like stick vacuum cleaners. With no bag. Tap. The next time an instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn cost X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control as this ability resolves. Interesting. We've got a super chat from C24 MVP. Shepherd of Rot. Are they rotting? Shepherd of Rot. A black 1 generic. Oh no, it's a 1/1. Disqualified. What does it do anyway? Tap. Each player loses 1 life for each zombie on the battlefield. Good for the zombie players. Oh, that's a good one. Goblin Pile Driver. Pile drive through the blue players. 2 mana 1/2. Protection from blue. Whenever Goblin Pile Driver attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin. Bacon Catbug. Spinal Villain. It's very dangerous to merfolk. I thought this is the person's butt. I now realize this is their head. Destroy target blue creature for 3 mana. Oh my goodness. Bahamut with a Sith. Ooh, Sithis. Harvest Hand. This card is fantastic. Okay, it's a green-white for a nymph. When you cast an enchantment, you gain not only a card, you also gain 1 life. So you play more enchantments, they just chain together. Also, the life gain can be really annoying. And I think that's it. All right. Thank you very much today for showing up this Friday. And as every day, you got to be here 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time to be part of the show. Thank you so much to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or you super chat to help other people be part of the show. It's all a very, very nice, weird community we have over here. And thank you very much for the people that show up in the morning. People like, we got David, your friendly neighborhood idiot, Jess, Bacon Catbug, Christopher B, Abzo Toads, Alan, Mario, Rorschach, Bahamut, Ree, because you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, enjoy, keep those coffees brewing, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all at the next